Hello and welcome to Technology Update. On today's show, we check out some of the highlights of the tech calendar. We learn about a promising new biological cancer treatment. And I stumble around a car park. But first, it's no secret that despite efforts to promote recycling, disposal of waste is still a problem. And I wouldn't exactly shock you if I said that demand for green energy were high. But what might surprise you is that there's a way of killing two birds with one stone.
Second wind.
The average Russian family annually produces about 400 kilos of household waste a year, adding up to 70 million tons nationally. In a country with no shortage of space, burying rubbish is the easiest and cheapest way of disposing of it. And 90% of it is buried in the country's 10,000 landfill sites. Not only did landfills create an eyesore, but it's the things you can't see that we should be worried about. As waste decomposes, tons of greenhouse gases are released into the atmosphere. The Institute for Electrophysics and Electric Power is headed by Philipp Rutberg. He was awarded the USSR State Prize of the Russian Federation, and others that would take too long to list for his work in the field of electrophysics and low-temperature plasma. And for well over 20 years, he's been working on a revolutionary waste disposal system. Not only does it cleanly and safely destroy the most common types of rubbish, it actually generates green energy from it. The installation uses plasma gasification technology to break down organic matter into synthesis gas, a combination of hydrogen and carbon monoxide, which can be used to generate heat, electricity, or further processed to produce liquid fuel. Although it's not likely to replace nuclear power, oil or gas anytime soon, the green machine has found its niche.
Back in 1990, we stopped researching the fundamental issues of physics and began thinking of possible new applications. And since we dealt with plasma, which, thanks to its properties, is capable of breaking down any substance into atoms, thus opening up the possibility to further rearrange them, we decided that the most promising application would be to develop ways of treating highly toxic waste, such as polychloride biphenyls, binary gases, medical waste, and so on, all with the purpose of neutralizing them.
Plasma is the so-called fourth state of matter. It forms when air or gas is ionized, which basically means it consists of equal numbers of positively and negatively charged ions. And to produce it, you'll need a plasma torch. The space-age device comprises several electrodes through which a high-voltage, strong electric current passes, forming an arc. Highly pressurized gas, which can be anything from argon, helium, hydrogen to the air we breathe, then shoots through the arc, throwing out plasma of up to tens of thousands of degrees. But all that aside, it also looks pretty cool. By boosting the voltage and lowering the current, the Institute has extended their torch lifespan to well over 1,000 hours, while projecting the 250 centimeter arcs outside the nozzle increases heat transfer to whatever's in the chamber. The best fuels for the plasma waste processor are these wood chips and sawdust briquettes from the logging industry. But it also works pretty well with household waste, which has to be dried and shredded first to boost the efficiency of the process. Each kilogram of waste can produce up to 1.5 kilowatt hours of electric power. So that means I'm carrying about 22 kilowatt hours, which is enough to fuel the average household for a day. There are other ways of producing power from waste, such as biodecomposition, which uses heat or bacteria to produce gas, but they're nowhere near as effective. However, before we can produce any clean energy from this waste, we must first blast it with 10,000 degrees C hot plasma. So let's fire it up. So, what's the secret behind destroying waste without producing harmful emissions?
It's best to ensure that no dioxides are produced at all. They disintegrate completely at temperatures above 1200 degrees. So if you cool the gas down quickly, well, it doesn't even have to be that fast. Or if you burn it off, they won't form in the first place. And that's very important. The entire process is environment friendly.
To kick the process off, the dried household waste is loaded into the lock chamber before falling through in batches to the transfer bin and finally the reactor chamber. 3 plasma torches ensure the waste is evenly heated, melted and ultimately vaporized, where the molecular bonds between atoms are destroyed, breaking them down into their component elements. Any slag produced is siphoned off at the bottom, and the amount of oxygen is carefully controlled, and the synthesis gas produced at the other end is quickly cooled to prevent CO2 from forming.
We've achieved some good results while researching the physics of the process. We made some discoveries. Some of them are now included in school textbooks and published in scientific journals. Also, we developed a new kind of plasma torch, the AC plasma torch, which I've already mentioned. It's interesting that basically we're the only ones working with alternating current, although Westinghouse and others did research it too. But we seem to have cracked it.
The challenges of creating powerful plasma torches that work on alternating currents were by far outweighed by their advantages over direct current. AC torches are not only significantly cheaper, not requiring complex power conversion blocks, but also highly energy efficient and can generate multiple arcs, with the Institute managing to convert up to 95% of the heat from the electrical input to the gas. So as it turns out, one man's waste really is another man's treasure.